going on, Dragon Ball fans? Welcome back to another Dragon Ball fan manga breakdown review, where today we're going to be reviewing a fan manga entitled Dragon Ball Multiverse, which is a fan-made manga set within its own timeline outside of the main canon of Akira Toriyama and Toei Animation, involving both characters from Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, as the overall concept of Dragon Ball Multiverse involves universes from all timelines and dimensions to gather together and battle in one tournament in order to determine which one of the many participating universes competing in this tournament will be the first to obtain the prize of the Dragon Balls for their own personal usage, as for many years now I've been reviewing and introducing all kinds of Dragon Ball fan mangas to the world created by the community for the community. So if you guys are interested in seeing and reading up on incredible stories and concepts such as Dragon Ball AF, Dragon Ball Legendary, Dragon Ball New Age, Dragon Ball X, and many others, then feel free to check out the Dragon Ball fan manga playlist in the description box for more videos such as this, as right now we are going to be diving into a brand new manga chapter. As before we begin, if you are new to this channel, hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications to be the first to know when a new video is posted onto this channel, as we kick off Dragon Ball Multiverse manga chapter number 33, with XXI, also known as 21, having to stand and awaiting his opponent Vegito, as one of Bojack's henchmen goes on to make the claim and saying that guy is still there, and 21 looks out in the distance. He manages to use his chi in flying up towards the stage, and Vegito's waiting for him and saying, "A magician, but I must eliminate him at once without giving him too much time to do something weird." Now, this individual doesn't seem to register anything that he's doing in English in terms of dialogue or text, but we see how Vegito begins to stand there, and Vegito's like, well, here it is, the weird thing. He teleported me. No, he moved me into another dimension. I see. If I take more than 30 seconds to get out, I lose. So basically you have 30 seconds throughout the duration of your match with whoever you're facing to either come back onto the stage or manage to get up in order for you to continue your fight, as Vegito goes on to state, "Your plan has failed, magician. Getting out of a dimension, nothing is easier than that." We simply launch a power-up, and we see how Vegito transforms into a Super Saiyan in breaking through the dimension, which is pretty cool because we haven't seen anybody really break through dimensions in Dragon Ball Multiverse thus far, and we're only 727 pages into Dragon Ball Multiverse. So Vegito is the first one to legitimately transform in breaking through the barriers of a dimension, as Vegito goes on to state, "I'm back," but then he looks out in the distance and two other individuals seem to be occupying the ring in their fight. And Vegito seems to be confused, and we see how Bardock goes on to state, "What the?" before King Cold goes for the punch and punching Bardock in the face. And now Vegito's in the ring and he's saying, "But," and Bra is down on the ground saying, "Dad, finally, you bastard." And Vegito's like, "What the hell is going on?" as Bardock engages King Cold and saying, "But wait, what are you doing here?" And that's when Super Buu looks up and saying, "Well, I hope that the Vargas will do the right thing," with the Kaioshin having to respond by saying he did not realize that the time has passed. And Vegito's angry. He's beginning to power up and saying, "People should listen when I speak," in which one of the Vargas aka tournament holders grabs the mic and saying, "Stop, wait, it's no good, time out," with the holders having to announce, "Vegito of Universe 16, you lost your fight. Please leave the ring." And Vegito's like, "Lost? How?" with the Vargas having to reply by saying, "You disappeared for more than 30 seconds. And Vegito's like, "Wrong. I know I was back in less than 30 seconds. And Bra's like, "You've been missing for 2 hours, dickhead. You missed my fight." And Vegito's like, 2 hours? With one of the Kaioshin having to appear in front of Vegito and saying, "We figured out what happened. 21 trapped you in a dimension where time flows differently. For you, it was a few seconds, but for us here, it has been 1 hour and 44 minutes. We did other battles since then." And Vegito's pissed and saying, "I was tricked. That dimension worked like the room of spirit and time, but in another direction." And that's when Bardock walks up and saying, "So, can we continue our match now? Get lost." And Bardock looks on over as he spots Gohan and Goku, as we get to see how Goku goes on to state, "We'll find a way to stop Vegito. He isn't invincible," as Bra goes on to state, "Yes, he is. You just don't understand, do you?" as Gohan replies by saying, "As long as we have this, he won't get his wish," which is obviously a cracked Dragon Ball. As we get to see bits of flashbacks as Yamcha goes on to state, "You may have beaten all the others, but you can't touch me. Does that make me the strongest out of all the universes?" and Piccolo Piccolo goes on to state, "Only my will keeps you alive. Remember that and be civil." As Bra goes on to state, "I'm sorry," and Vegeta's like, "Yeah, sorry." Bardock looks on over and Vegito's so confused. As Gohan lands in the ring and saying, "Come on, Dad, let them continue their match." And Vegito's like, "No, wait, it's not fair. I mean, it was a dirty trick. In a real fight, I would have beaten him to the end." With Gohan responding by saying, "You think so? You were away for hours. Imagine what your opponent could have done. He would have had the time to destroy the Earth twice over. In a real fight, you would have failed just the same. You were beaten, Dad." And Vegito's pissed. He goes on to state, "Shut up, Gohan. I'm not giving up this tournament." And Gohan replies by saying, "Keep playing stupid." And we're back to our universe and Pan stays dead. And I won't allow that. And Boo walks on over and saying, "You there, go ask 21 for a rematch." And one of the Vargas is like, yeah, okay, yes, sir." And Vegito's standing there. He seems confused. He's very agitated. He puts his fingers up to his forehead and using instant transmission and saying, "I need some time alone. Sorry I bothered you," and just completely disappears. And Gohan's like, there he goes, sulking again. As the Kaioshin that was talking to Vegito goes on to state, "The incident is over, everyone. The match can go on. Ready?" And Super Saiyan Bardock is like, "Phew, my visions won't be happening now, I guess." With one of the Vargases responding to Boo and saying he didn't answer, and that's when Boo's like, "Are you kidding me? I demand a rematch. I don't care if those two cowards want to give up. We've seen enough amateurish mockery." As the Kaioshin shows up and saying, "Dear sir, it's not for you to decide." And Boo's like, "Not for me, huh?" And he punches the Kaioshin in the face and saying, "What a joke. I have controlled everything since the beginning." With everyone being shocked as to what the heck it is he's talking about, with Boo having to say, "I'm everywhere. I have your Dragon Balls. I have your technology. I know your secrets. I play with your minds. I decide who lives, who dies, and who gets absorbed." And we see bits and pieces of Majin Buu legitimately everywhere, and he's been planning this since the beginning of Dragon Ball Multiverse's manga, because we see Goku, Prince Vegeta, Kuririn and Ten Shinhan, Perfect Cell, Android 18, everyone is beginning to get enveloped in Boo's goo and being absorbed. Now this is crucial because now we see the Boo goo everywhere, and that's when one of the Namekians goes on to state, "Send him back to his universe now," with the Vargas having to say, "It stopped working, the button isn't working." And that's when Boo appears in the control room and saying, "You fool, I decide if it works. I'm done pulling strings from the dark. Now I'll do it openly." And everyone's getting absorbed. Legitimately, we see how Cooler and Frieza are one of the only two that managed to pull away amongst the entire crowd having to get absorbed left and right. So then we get to see how eventually, as Frieza and Cooler are trying to get away, they ultimately end up getting captured, as we hear them cry out, "Damn it, King Cold, Super Saiyan Bardock." And Cold's like, "What the hell is this?" Nobody seems to understand what's going on, and it's amazing to me how every single individual who is participating in this tournament is getting swallowed up left and right. Bra, Gohan, Goten, Trunks, Future Trunks, Tapion, Bojack, everybody's getting absorbed by Boo, with Boo having to cry out, "The masquerade ends now," and he seems to have complete control over everybody. However, over at one of the other universes side, we see how Goku cries out and saying, "All together," with Super Saiyan Trunks, Ultimate Gohan, Super Saiyan Pan, Super Saiyan Vegeta. We see Super Saiyan Goku, Majin, Piccolo, everyone is there, and they're creating some sort of a barrier, some sort of a protective shield in not allowing them to get absorbed by Super Boo, because it's actually a very defensive kind of plan in the idea that they can't face him off together, so they have to defend themselves from the absorption technique. And Boo is there, Bobity's getting choked out. Boo walks up to Fat Boo and saying, "See? That's how you do it." And Fat Boo doesn't have a clue as to what's going on. He's saying, "Super, super, yes." And that's when we see how one of the other Kaioshin is beginning to speak to Boo, and Boo goes on to say, "He is breaking the rules, watch me protest and do nothing." He's basically making a mockery of everyone, and that's when the other Kaioshin are like, "Come on, this is serious." As Boo goes on to state, "I shall decide all the fights from here on in. I am a very good referee, you see. New rules. You can get all the help you want. You win when I decide you do. So first fight will be, let's see." And he's trying to pick it all apart, as we see how Bra is firing up in the sky as she says, "Fuck, where is my father?" Because she's trying not to get absorbed, and Vegito is out somewhere in space, light years away, and he is pissed that he lost the fight, because he goes on to state, "Damn it, such a great opportunity destroyed by a treacherous magician. And worse, I wanted to punch Gohan so bad, even though he was right. I wanted to break his skull, and he powers up, but then he calms down and saying, the frustration has turned me into bra. Oh well, Gohan is on good terms with the organizers, we can negotiate a few other matches. Or, I can fight Boo out here, he'll surely accept. I wonder if that big Namek or Cell would agree to an outside match as well. Everything will be alright, and I can still control myself perfectly after all. I need to breathe. So he's resting on this meteor, he's trying not to focus in too much on his anger because it looks like it's allowing him to feel much more like his daughter in the sense to where he can't control himself, but back at the tournament arena, everyone's getting sucked up, and we see people cry out, damn it, we see how the other Kakarot from the other universe is crying out and saying, it won't help, stupid, don't transform into a great ape. Some of the Saiyans like Raditz are trying to transform, and even some of the spectators are saying, oh wow, it's a really interactive show. Yeah, true, because they're not understanding what's happening here with Goku and Vegeta having to stand side by side and saying, the shield won't hold Vegeta, we must unleash our full power. And Vegeta's like, no way, I can keep going for hours. My full power is for our ultimate battle, not pink gum we've already beaten before. With Vegeta obviously taking pride in the idea that they beat Boo once, he doesn't want to go through with it again, and Gohan is stuck in the Boo going saying, don't go Super Saiyan 2, brah. There is no point in you stopping Boo if it means killing all the people around you. Stop! And we see how the ultimate fused Namekian is literally just standing there. He has no shield, all we see is the Boo goo around him and trying to hold him in place and trying to absorb him, and all he says is stop. And Boo takes notice of this, and Boo's in shock because as we see the Namekian say the word stop, all of the goo that was emitting from Majin Buu's body is beginning to fly and basically get off of all of its hosts. For example, the people, the crowd, the fighters, and even the spectators are like, we're saved. Goku looks up, he's actually very thankful, and it's remarkable how all he really did was say the word stop. And then Boo is looking up in anger and he's like, what the, how is this possible? What's happening? And we see how the Namekian captures Boo in this giant round circular blob of gum, and that's when he goes on to state, you keep calm now, which closes off the manga chapter in the idea that with Vegito having to take his role very serious, we see how he begins to venture out because Vegito here has no lead as a fighter in terms of advancing in this tournament because to him, the place where he managed to spend his time at was actually different than the real world, just like the hyperbolic time chamber, also known as the room of spirit and time, and time flows differently there. So Vegito's concept in this manga was executed very well, I believe, in the idea that Vegito actually had something going on to where you can sense the frustration, the pride, and the ego begin to shine through because Vegito really wanted a crack at Boo. Vegito really wanted to advance in fighting some of the more powerful warriors, but he wasn't able to do that. And Vegito as a warrior is one of the most powerful warriors there. We saw from the beginning when he fought Broly as a Super Saiyan 3, he could push himself beyond anyone's expectations. So with that, Vegito was very upset in the idea that he couldn't fight the people that he wanted to fight because the magician had used his tactics in keeping Vegito sealed away within this unknown dimension. But over at the arena, Super Boo was actually controlling, or at least admitting to controlling the outcome, and he wanted to control the outcome, but I really do fear that this Super Namekian is going to be one of the most, if not the pinnacle of this entire multiverse manga, because with him having to just utter the word stop and releasing everybody not just from being held captive but potentially being absorbed, he easily was able to revert Boo into a ball of gum in suspending him up in the air and telling him to shut up and keep calm. That is absolutely scary considering the fact that this individual is absolutely powerful in nature, but he's not even displaying partial strength yet, which is basically scary in the fact that we saw how he did before in the previous manga chapters when he fought against Cell Jr., so we can only imagine as to what he would be like if he fought people even stronger than potentially he was. So in the end, guys, let me know your thoughts down below as to Vegito losing, Boo trying to absorb everybody. What are your overall thoughts on Boo admitting this to everyone but never really having to follow up with his plan? That was the one thing that I felt like was kind of at a downslide in the fact that Super Buu admitted all this, and it looked like it was going actually very well until he was easily put down and just made into the Namekian's bitch, which I think that they could have milked that a little bit more in having Buu control the outcome of this tournament. But in the end, I would like to know what you guys have to say down in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching. Once again, if you guys are new to this channel and love Dragon Ball, hit that subscribe button, guys. Turn on all notifications by clicking on that bell icon to be notified whenever a brand new video is posted onto this channel. If, of course, you guys love the video and cannot wait to see more, or just a fan of Dragon Ball as a whole, smash that like button, guys. Check out the official Dragon Ball fan mangas playlist down below for you guys to watch and enjoy. So many chapters done previously, many more to come in the future. So thank you all once again. Tune back in for more, and I'll be seeing each and every single one of you guys in the next Dragon Ball Multiverse manga chapter review. Take it easy, everybody. Cue my motherfucking outro, bitch.